Hey, good morning. Brad Smith here from The Way. So, hey, today I want to talk to you about expository preaching. Well, what is expository preaching? That is a way to preach whereby you pick a book of the Bible, and the most thorough way is to go verse by verse through a particular book of the Bible. That's expository preaching, extracting from the text what God wants us to hear. Now, at the Way, we believe very strongly in expository preaching. The founder of our church, Scott Dollar, drilled that into my head. He used to say that we were allowed one topical message a year, but we had to ask for forgiveness ahead of time. And I think he took that from one of his professors back in the day. But anyway, I love expository preaching. We've been doing it for years. This year, at the Way, we've preached the book of Ezra. We preached through many of the Psalms this summer, not all of them. Then we preached through the book of 1 John. And we just got done spending 4 weeks preaching a single verse, Acts chapter 1, verse 8. And we're getting ready to start a new series this week on the book of Jude. Now, let's talk about expository preaching. Why is that? Well, the main reason that expository preaching is so important is that when you go topical, when the pastor, who is a man, a fallible man, a sinner, just like anybody else, prone to error, prone to having his own biases, his own presuppositions. I know there's many weeks where there are things that I want to communicate to you. But you don't come to church to hear what I want to communicate to you. You come to church to hear what God wants to communicate to you. And maybe he uses me as an instrument to speak to you. And so when we take the Bible, books of the Bible, and we go verse by verse through them, to the greatest extent possible, we eliminate error, or we minimize the possibility of inducing error, contextual error, interpretation type error. If I just cherry pick a verse and do a topical sermon about it, I could easily find myself way off base. I believe so strongly in expository preaching that would be a deal breaker on a church that I attended. If I was hunting for a church, there's a couple of things that I have that are must-haves for me to take my family into that fellowship, and one of those would be expository preaching. If I were looking at a church and they did topical messages, then I would find another fellowship. I know there's some popular pastors these days who are fans of topical preaching, and I've even heard some of these pastors say that expository preaching is lazy, and I would counter that by saying that topical preaching is dangerous. Topical preaching is dangerous, can be dangerous, not always dangerous. You can do a topical expositional sermon and do it pretty good. And so we are forsaking a traditional Christmas series this year, and we've done some series in the past. I have to tell you that writing those series has always been just an enormous pain. This year we are going to do the book of Jude leading up to Christmas. So hey, if you want to study through the book of Jude with us, you can read it in about just a few minutes. It's pretty short, just a single chapter. And so check out the book of Jude this week. We'll talk more later in the week about the first part of the book of Jude. And hopefully you have a great week. God bless.